I am a betting man, and I wager that you need better underwear. Stick around till the end of this video, though you're probably stuck down there already, for essential info on Sheath underwear, the best skivvies in the biz. If you watch my channel for any time at all, you know that I like to highlight creators that are underappreciated, that are doing sometimes thankless work. And I mean thankless by when you put a ton of work in on a video and it doesn't get watched, it seems thankless. Garrison Hayes is one. He posted a video yesterday entitled, Why Kamala Lost According to Regular People. I'm going to play a 53-second clip of it. Before I do, because you should go watch this video. It goes places you don't think it's going to go. And it's really instructive about the thing that I'm going to talk about right now before I get to this Scott Jennings nonsense. And that is, politics reveals your values, what you hold important. People's freedom, inequality, just the general nature of humanity. I guess we could just put it like that. Right now, there's a debate in our country about that very thing. Who is important? And just by the zero-sum game, oftentimes in the culture that we have, who is not important? With the acquittal of Daniel Penny just the other day, for the killing of Jordan Neely, a nuisance on a subway who was then subsequently choked to death, versus the CEO of United Healthcare, Brian Thompson. There's been a lot of conversation about this. Anyway, before we get to that, this does play a role, and it is our politics, what we value, what we hold to be important. And Garrison Hayes went out on a path in Atlanta and ended up talking to people on a horse, and there's people running by. It's just bananas, all kinds of stuff going on. But I want to play this particular element of this video. It's 53 seconds or so of a larger 15-minute video, a longer 15-minute video that you should go check out and subscribe to Garrison Hayes. But it's going to lead me into talking about what Scott Jennings, the absolute disgraceful display that he put on yesterday for CNN. First, though, Garrison Hayes on why Kamala lost, parenthetically, according to regular people.
Cannot emphasize enough the chasm, the gap between people's perception of basic facts in this election.
What would the Democratic Party have to do to get a person like you to vote for them?
Change their whole perspective of all that stuff right there. Cut out a lot of that. That's the main thing.
When you say that stuff, I think what comes to my mind is LGBTQ. Is that
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, well, our race won't get down like that. Man for woman, woman for man. That's it. Bottom line.
What do you say to someone who's you can be with a woman, but what's stopping somebody else from being with who they want to be with?
Ain't stopping nobody from being there. They got their belief and I got mine, and that's all it is to it.
Yeah.
So they can do what they want to do.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Everybody got to answer to God.
And for you, homosexuality or transgenderism is like a sin.
I'm going to talk about fundamental differences. First, fundamental differences in content creators and our styles and our skill sets. Garrison Hayes has one skill set that I do not possess, and that is to sit there with that bigot on the horse and act like he has important opinions. And I'm not saying that Garrison Hayes, because I know him now, he certainly doesn't agree with the opinions of that man on the horse, but it does take a special skill set to ask these questions to then present them to an audience. I would find it maybe impossible to sit there and not tell him you're a bigot, as I've done in different interviews out on the street before. But this also highlights the fundamental differences that we share as Americans about fundamental things, like the value of human life. And if you want to legislate through your vote, because he's not writing legislation, the horse guy, He's voting for people who will both write legislation and then send it to the desk of the president, who will sign it, enacting legislation. And that, spoiler alert, the guy on the horse voted for Donald Trump. So he can act like, well, you can do what you want to do, but not in my house. But it's not you can do what you want to do when you vote for Donald Trump, who will then, through legislation and through policy, restrict the freedoms and liberties of people who that guy disagrees with because that's not how he was raised or whatever absolute nonsense. So there are fundamental differences between us all, especially related to the divide of the political parties. And this is no more stark than what took place than is with what took place last night on CNN in a very brief moment between Audie Cornish and Scott Jennings, the now emboldened that Trump is in office, just going even harder into bigotry and insanity than he did before. Watch this moment, then we'll talk about it on the other side.
Yeah, let me just help you understand. If you're on the American left tonight, here's my chart. The good guys today, Daniel Penny. The bad guys, Luigi Mangione. It seems to me.
How do you?
Everybody
what's
on the
the
left,
chart for victims?
I'm just telling you what I see out in the world.
I know.
Today.
I just want you to finish the chart. Which victim is good and which victim is bad.
What I'm telling you is
that's not on the second page.
People on the left can't seem to tell the difference between the good guys and the bad guys.
I'm not asking you about people on the left. I'm asking you whether you consider this person.
We had people praising Luigi.
I want to know whether you
Penny.
think that,
one is good,
as
one
Congressman Crane does, that Daniel Penny should get the Congressional Gold Medal to recognize his heroism. I'm not asking you about anyone else.
I think he ought to get medal. I think they ought to build a statue to this guy in New York City.
You see, there are fundamental differences in what we value. He holds up his sign. What did he say? Just let me help you understand if you're on the American left tonight. Here's my chart. The good guys today, Daniel Penny, the bad guy, Luigi Mangione, or whatever his name is, the guy who killed the healthcare CEO. And my issue is not necessarily with the killers. I don't want to address that. It's with who they killed. That's where our perceptions of value lie. To the conservatives, Jordan Neely, it's justified that his life was taken. Black, ostensibly mentally ill, versus Brian Thompson, who's a multimillionaire who extracts wealth from a population while denying them health care. Did he deserve to die? No, I don't believe so. I don't believe that vigilante justice in any form is good for our society. Will it move the needle? It might. It might move the needle, but there are better, more civilized ways to get things accomplished than through violence. And that's not even just because I'm the subject and the victim of violent threats against my life for holding the beliefs that I do. But it's disgusting for Scott Jennings to go on CNN and say that we should erect a statue to Daniel Penny. You wouldn't even know Daniel Penny's name if he hadn't choked Jordan Neely to death, killing him on a New York subway while onlookers did nothing. You wouldn't know his name. But to Scott Jennings and conservatives all over the country, they want a statue erected to him. They want him to be awarded the Congressional Gold Medal for choking a dude to death. And yeah, of course, look, there's certainly liberals out there, and especially in Twitter and on social media, that are celebrating the death of Brian Thompson, laughing about it. Those aren't my views. I'm not a hypocrite. I don't think that the killing of Jordan Neely is bad, but the killing of Brian Thompson is good. Because my morality isn't informed by my politics. My politics are informed by my morality. And as I've said many, many times, you're not going to catch me, I hope, being a weakling mentally and a hypocrite. Same thing with the Hunter Biden pardon thing. If it's wrong for Donald Trump to say, I'm not going to pardon this person, and then he subsequently pardons that person, you'd be outraged. But if Joe Biden does it, I'm not going to pardon Hunter Biden, and then he pardons Hunter Biden, you think, oh, that's great. I don't operate that way. If it's bad for this guy, it's bad for my guy. Again, my morality informs my politics. And I can't see that Scott Jennings has really any morality at all. He's an amoral person. I mean, look at Audie Cornish's face at the end of that clip, the shock at what she just heard. Anyway, I've said a whole bunch of stuff here, didn't really fully address the clip, but let's leave it there. Tell me what you think in the comments. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. Of course, as always, I'm accepting your voicemails. Daily at Dollemore.com. Get at me. If you want to help support this work, help produce these videos, click the join button below, become a channel member. Go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Go subscribe to Garrison Hayes' channel. Check out that full video. It is remarkable, the stark divide. And also just the disconnection from reality that so many people have. And it's important work that he does, going out there and actually talking to people on the street, or whatever running path that was. Anyway, I love and appreciate you. Thanks for your engagement. I'll see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Be genuine. Take care of one another. There are so many unknowns in life. It often feels like a game of chance. Things often turn out differently than expected, despite the best planning or intentions. Interest rates, that fancy bottle of wine you bought, heck, the election, so much feels like a gamble. One thing you do not have to speculate on, your underwear, or mine for that matter. Designed by a U.S. military soldier while in Iraq, a guy who knows something about steaks, Sheath Underwear's dual pouch system ensures your package won't stick to your leg, while also giving everything some space by separating your gambler from his dice. You see what I'm doing here? Thanks to this testicular tech, Sheath has successfully been protecting your most valuable assets for over 10 years. They are recommended by multiple doctors and urologists and have over 20,000 five-star reviews from customers like me. I'm one of those 20,000 reviews. My sheaths have been with me through thick and thin, both before I was a bit heavier than I am now, and now as the leaner version of me. Trademark or copyright that. I love these things. I think that's pretty clear. So no more garment gambling, all right? Head to sheathunderwear.com/Dollemore to score 20% off. You don't need to be a high roller. You see the theme here, the gambling and the dice and the... It's good, right? You don't have to be a high roller to have unbeatable underwear. My go-tos are the Airflow Mesh, but Sheath has tons of excellent styles and designs. All sheaths are backed by a 2-year warranty and will land on your doorstep near instantly thanks to blindingly fast shipping, which is free in the United States on orders over $75. Also, your purchase actually does affect positive change, and this is very important. Sheath supports multiple charities like Socks for Soldiers and Doctors Without Borders, so you're winning for the world too when you buy from Sheath. Don't roll the dice on your drawers. Score 20% off right now when you head to sheathunderwear.com/Dollemore. Real change starts with you and, believe it or not, your package. Upgrade your undergarments to Sheath.